TV7 Israel News is made possible thanks to your generous donations. Shalom and good evening. This is TV7 Israel News broadcasting to you from Jerusalem. And in today's top stories, Jerusalem is considering the option of joining the US-led coalition to block hostile Iranian activities in the Strait of Hormuz in a move that will expand Israel's proactive efforts to assist Washington and its allies in the field of intelligence. The Islamic Republic's Parliament Speaker Ali Larijani reiterated a warning that all US bases across the Middle East are within range of an Iranian strike if any war were to break out. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has once again vowed to carry out a military operation in the Kurdish-controlled areas of northeastern Syria, despite American efforts to thwart a Turkish invasion into its southern neighbor. Jerusalem is considering the option of joining the US-led coalition to block hostile activities in the Strait of Hormuz, in a move that will expand Israel's proactive efforts to assist Washington and its allies in the field of intelligence. During a meeting of the Israeli Parliament's temporary Foreign Affairs and Defense Committee, which is chaired by Knesset member Avi Dichter, Israel's possible admission to the American-initiated task force was discussed. The most vocal supporter of joining the coalition is Foreign Minister Israel Katz, who insisted that Israel's active involvement, in addition to the already extensive intelligence efforts, is a key interest for Jerusalem. In addition to standing by Israel's most important ally, the United States, Minister Katz asserted that it would also have political implications with regard to Israel's relations with Arab Gulf states. The Israeli top diplomat explained that the main goal is to bring about a game changer in our relations with the Gulf states, while revealing that only recently he met with a senior personality in the United Arab Emirates, which resulted in significant understandings. As such, the foreign minister underlined that his goal, with full backing of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, is to take action for an overt normalization and for signed and open treaties with the Arab Gulf states. Meanwhile, in Sydney, during a signing ceremony of a new joint partnership between Australia and the NATO alliance, the country's defense minister revealed that Canberra is considering a request by both Washington and London to join the American-led task force to assure freedom of navigation in international waters in the vicinity of the Persian Gulf.
Yes, we did. We have had discussions about what's happening in the Middle East. I can reiterate that the Australian government remains very concerned about the increased tensions in the Straits of Hormuz, and we are considering the American request and also now the request from the United Kingdom, but we have not yet made any decision.
NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg, on his part, underscored a collective concern by all NATO allies regarding freedom of navigation in particular, and the destabilizing activities of the Islamic Republic of Iran across the Middle East in general.
We are extremely, of course, concerned about the situation in the Strait of Hormuz, and all allies are also concerned about the destabilizing activities of Iran in the region. Its support to different terrorist groups, its missile program, and all allies also agree that Iran should never be able to develop any nuclear weapons. Freedom of navigation is extremely important for NATO allies.
Many countries around the world are currently deliberating the American request to form a naval coalition, as Washington sent official invitations to over 60 nations. Despite Germany's refusal to join the multinational task force, many other countries have already committed their navies to the American request, including the United Kingdom, France, and Japan, among other nations. Meanwhile, in Tehran, the Islamic Republic's defense minister, Brigadier General Amir Khatami, attended a ceremony that unveiled 3 new Iranian-made short to medium-range missiles. Minister Khatami provided a short summary of the air-to-air missiles, including the Balaban, Yassin, and new ballistic missile of the Gaem series, which he claimed are precision-guided missiles with pinpoint accuracy. Meanwhile, Iran's Parliament Speaker Ali Larijani warned once again that all US bases in the region are within range of an Iranian strike if any war were to break out. Larijani, who was quoted by the Tehran Times Daily, claimed that Washington's reluctance stems from its concerns of an Iranian retaliation against all American bases. With regard to the unveiling of the 3 new domestic-made missiles, the Iranian parliament speaker claimed that it clearly indicates Tehran's resilience in the midst of crippling US sanctions. Now to Turkey, where President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has vowed once again to carry out a military operation in the Kurdish-controlled areas of northeastern Syria. In a speech to Turkish ambassadors in Ankara, Erdogan insisted that Turkey will pay a higher price if it does not do what is necessary in Syria, while further underscoring that the operation would start very soon.
Suriye'nin kuzeyindeki terör bataklığını kurutmak ülkemizin en öncelikli meselesidir. Güney sınırımızda adeta kanser hücresi gibi büyüyen, müttefiklerimizin ağır silahlarıyla büyütülen bu yapı ortadan kalkmadıkça Türkiye kendini emniyette hissedemez. Şayet bugün gerekeni yapmazsak, Allah korusun yarın bunu daha ağır bedeller ödeyerek yapmak zorunda kalırız. Fırat Kalkanı ve Zeytin Dalı harekatlarıyla başlattığımız süreci inşallah çok yakında farklı bir aşamaya geçireceğiz.
The Turkish leader also voiced his belief in which US President Donald Trump will not allow ties between the two countries to become captive to a dispute over Ankara's purchase of Russia's highly sophisticated S-400 surface-to-air defense system, despite America's decision to suspend Turkey's participation in the F-35 project and revoke Ankara's previously made order of the sophisticated fighter jets. The voiced hope of salvaging the deteriorating relations between Ankara and Washington came in light of a statement that was made last month by President Donald Trump, in which he said that he cannot blame Turkey for its determination to acquire the Russian-made S-400 systems because of various circumstances that date back to US-Turkish relations during the Obama administration.
Well, we're looking at the whole Turkey situation. You know, they've ordered 125 F-35 fighter jets, billions and billions of dollars. They paid some of it. The planes are being made. They're easily sold to other nations because they're the greatest fighter jet in the world. And we have a backlog of orders, but it's a tough situation. They're getting the S-400 and our statutes and everything else says you do that, you just can't order this equipment, and generally speaking, you can't order equipment, period. I don't blame Turkey because there are a lot of circumstances and a lot of problems that occurred during the Obama administration. This dates back to the Obama administration, which was a disaster, okay? Yes, John.
Despite efforts to preserve the US-Turkish relations, Erdogan's adamant position of the need to invade the Kurdish-controlled territories in northeastern Syria is not well received by the United States. As was reported on TV7 last night, US Defense Secretary Mark Esper warned that any Turkish incursion into northeastern Syria would be unacceptable.
Or they may be coming back, but we've been heavily engaged with the Turks with regard to their security interests in northern Syria. Clearly, we believe any unilateral action by them would be unacceptable. And so what we're trying to do now is work out with them an arrangement to address their concerns, and I'm hopeful we'll get there.
Esper further insisted that a unilateral Turkish incursion would upset mutual interests of Turkey and the United States, as well as the Syrian Democratic Forces that served as a key component in the US military's battle against the Islamic State.
What we're going to do is prevent unilateral incursions that would upset, again, these mutual interests that both the United States, Turkey, and the SDF share with regard to northern Syria.
Despite Washington's repeated warnings, Ankara officials told TV7 that an operation is inevitable unless the United States would follow up on its pledge to create a buffer safe zone east of the Euphrates River that will see all SDF forces, many of which are viewed by the Turks as terrorists, removed from the territory. Thank you for watching us. Keep praying for the peace of Israel and the peace of Jerusalem. I'm Jonathan Hessen. Have an Erev Tov, and we will see you again tomorrow at the same time.
Hi, this is Mayan Hessen from TV7 Israel News. Like our videos? Support our cause? Enjoy learning more about the region? Want constant updates about the Middle East? Then subscribe to the TV7 Israel News YouTube channel. Make sure to also turn on the notification bell with just one simple click of a button. After subscribing to our channel, a bell icon will appear under every one of our videos. You will find the notification bell right next to the subscribe button, and all you have to do is click on the bell icon, and make sure small sound bars appear above it. This way, you'll be alerted every time we upload a new video, and thus will never miss a thing. Stay tuned and thanks for watching.